Well, hello friends. Today we're going to work on scroll bars because I noticed this thing that when I'm trying to scroll down in a text document, for instance, and I press the scroll bar, then it only scrolls that one little pixel or whatever. It doesn't keep scrolling as long as I'm holding down, and that just doesn't feel right. So I thought I would implement some kind of repeating scroll mechanism. And let's just go and look in G scroll bar, because I haven't been in this code for a while, so it'll be nice to get back to it. So G scroll bar, I guess we would be in mouse down. That's when we decide to start scrolling. So when you press down, okay, so this is where you press down on the down button, right? So yeah, so the scroll bar has like a couple of different sub widgets, sort of, but they're not actually implemented as a widget. They're just rects within that scroll bar. So there's the up button, the down button, and then there's the gutter rect, and the scrubber is the thing that you can like click and drag on, like the equivalent of this thing. I guess that's the scrubber. Some people call that the thumb element. I call it the scrubber. So basically, what we want to do now is when you hit either the up button or the down button, we want to start some type of timer and then have that timer scroll on each iteration, or on each every time it fires, because I suppose the timers don't iterate. But yeah, so we would do something like we'll call it maybe like automatic scrolling direction, or like repeating. We'll call it automatic scrolling direction. Do we have any kind of enum for this? No, I guess we don't. I'll just call it auto. Down, up. Of course, if the scroll bar is horizontal, then internally it still calls like left up and right down. But when it's rendered and laid out, it still ends up horizontal. It's just that internally it always uses up down to refer to the directions. Okay, and then let's actually define that, so we'll have something like automatic scrolling direction, none, and that will just be an enum class. This format is still screwing me up a bit, but we were able to get Clang format to organize things this way, and like using an automatic formatter I think is much better than relying on everyone to format their code consistently. So we take the compromise. None, up, down. Okay. Oh, that's cool. And then automatic scrolling timer, start. Yeah. And then I guess we can do the value updates in that timer instead. So let's say G scroll bar. On automatic scrolling timer fired. Let's say that if scrolling direction is turn. Okay, and we'll do the same for down. It's a plus. Okay. Right, and then we need to actually define these things. So BSC timer, and automatic scrolling timer, and we need to include libcore C timer. How do you move it like that? Yeah. And then we also need the callback for that thing. So that was this one. Yeah. Okay. And then we're going to set that up with some nice default interval. So I'm thinking like automatic scrolling timer set interval. How about like 200 milliseconds? And on timeout is we'll just do this, I guess, and we will just simply call. Wait, that's the one that we call, right? Yeah. Let's just see if this. Yeah, so it looks like we can build this at least. But we're going to want to have some logic to turn it off as well. So that's going to go in, let's see. Oops. We're certainly going to want to turn it off when we mouse up, but also if you are like, if you're clicking on the button and then you drag the cursor outside, then we don't want to be scrolling at that time. So I guess we can do something like, oh, how do we do this? Here we figure out which component is being hovered. It's a decrement button. Oh, so we do have different terminology. It's just that we're not using it consistently. It's called decrement button and then up button here. Probably we should call them all consistent names, but not right now. Okay, so when you mouse move and let's see. Hovered component changes, and then we can say that if mHovered component is, if it's the decrement button, or no, hold on, if automatic scrolling direction is automatic scrolling direction up, and so let's name this one accurately from the beginning. So let's see, how do we do that? We just use this, yeah. Decrement and increment. Okay. So if we are decrementing and the hovered component is not the decrement button, oh, hold on. We'll even do this. Automatic scrolling timer. Start. Oh, right. There's no like set active, is there? Oh, maybe we could have that. C timer. Or is that weird? I guess it's a little bit weird. We'll just do it. We'll just branch. So we'll say the hovered component is the decrement button. And we should actually still be in this branch here because we only want to do this if the currently hovered widget changes. If you're staying above the same widget, we don't need to change anything. So if the hover component is the decrement button, then we start the timer. Else we stop it. Okay. And then we can also do the same for the increment. Cool. Okay. And then in mouse up, We should definitely make sure that there's no automatic scrolling direction, so we can say that like there's definitely none, and there's definitely no point in running this thing. Maybe that's enough. Let's just try this. It's nice to be in the GUI code after I was working on the kernel stuff for a few days and like finding kernel bugs and fixing kernel bugs. It's nice to do something that has like a visual aspect to it. And something that's really nice about working on a project like this is that whenever you get tired of one type of programming, you can always go in and do some other kind. And like, I don't even have a scripting language yet. Like, once we get to that point, then it's just gonna branch out in all kinds of directions. But even now, working on kernel stuff and working on GUI stuff is like extremely different, which is awesome. Okay, so let's try this out. Click, and look at that, we are scrolling. It is not fast, but we are scrolling. And if I move out, it stops doing it. If I enter the cursor somewhere else, it doesn't work, but if I go here, it keeps scrolling. Yep. That's pretty cool. I noticed that there's a slight lag before it starts scrolling, and I don't love that, so let's try to react immediately when we do start. So let's wrap this in a helper. We'll say like set automatic scrolling active, and then we'll just we'll pass in this thing. And then we will have a helper for that. It will look like automatic scrolling active. And active, if it's active. And here we will be bold and do like pretend that it just fired, because that way we will get immediate response initially when we click down on one of these scroll arrows, and then it will start repeating. So I think that would be pretty cool. And hovered component. Okay. Yeah. And then we just have to define this. We don't need to name that param. Okay. Automatic scrolling timer. So here we stop. So I guess that's fine. We can also do like false. We can funnel everything through that function instead. We don't need to have mouse down event doing this as well, so we can do like, set automatic scrolling active, true. Okay, so let's get a little bit better at rebuilding here. So let's see, text editor and XE applications text editor and sync and run. feel like my host computer is getting slower lately. I don't know what's up with that. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know if it even comes through in the video, but like it immediately starts scrolling when I click down. Although these it's not really repeating as fast as I would like, so let's take that 200 and turn it into 100 and see how that feels like. I wish I had shell history that would persist across sessions. Okay, now this is starting to feel a little bit more reasonable, but scroll wheel is pretty cool. It's still kind of sluggish. Let's see. So how do we even do this thing? I'm thinking like, how do we determine what the scroll, like how much to scroll for each one? So that would be in like set step, and it's just hard coded to 4. Oh, okay. So I think in GText editor we could do something like, oh, does this instantiate the scroll bars? Well, make sure that they exist. Okay, so then we'll just do something like vertical scroll bar set step. Oh, and let's do that after we pick up the font actually. So then we'll do font, glyph height. Is that cool? Or is there a line height? No, glyph height. And then each step will be one, the height of one character. Which, since we're using monospace font here, it should be one line. Click, click, click. I feel like it's not going one line at a time. So that was just in the constructor, so nobody would be overriding this. And then where were we? In G scroll bar on automatic scrolling timer, we're just adding the step. Line height. Oh, there is a line height. So we have line spacing, which is 4 pixels. So we need to use line height rather than the glyph height. Well, see, I was thinking the right way, but I made the stupid mistake anyway because I didn't look at the GText editor functions. So we should have fix me. We compute vertical scroll bar step size on font change. Currently we don't really react to font changes, but we should in the future. So let's see, let's click. Yeah, now we're going line at a time. And this is looking so reasonable right now. Delicious. Okay. So let's see. Is there something else that we would like to do here? I guess we can commit this. So let's just do a patch review where we look at the patch. So in the scroll bar constructor, we set the interval of this timer to 100, but we never started. And then we create this timeout callback that just invokes this other callback. Just for the convenience of having it in this function here. We could do all the callback stuff in this lambda, but I kind of like having it as a separate gscrollbar function just because it's more readable that way. Okay, so then if we are auto-scrolling in the decrement direction, then we decrement, and if we're auto-scrolling in increment direction, then we increment. Fine. Then when we mouse down, we check if we're hitting the up button, then we set the auto-scroll direction to decrement and start auto-scrolling. And for down button, we do increment and start. Okay. And then in mouse up, we unconditionally turn off automatic scrolling direction and set it the timer to off. Okay. And then set automatic scrolling active. If we're setting active, then we invoke the callback right away to get an immediate reaction. And then we start the timer to get repeated reactions, or the repeated effect. And if it's false, then we just turn it off. Okay. And then in mouse move, if the hovered component, so like that's which subcomponent of the scrollbar we're currently mousing over, when that changes, then we check if we are in auto scroll decrement mode. If so, then we set the auto scroll active state to be whether the component is currently the decrement button. And same thing for the increment button and the increment direction. Cool. And then here's just the header changes for this. And the enum and the blah, 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 and adding the timer and the scroll direction. And then, right, so then in GText editor, we set the vertical scroll bar step size to be the line height. So I'm going to commit that separately. With GUI, GText editor, oops. And we'll say oh, damn it, I didn't mean to do that. GText editor. Set the vertical scroll bar step size to the line. Pretty good. Or let me expand on that. This makes us scroll one line at a time. Cool. And then let's do G scroll bar. And oh god, my brain is stuck. Keep scrolling at a regular interval while holding down. Keep scrolling while holding down increment, decrement, while pushing down increment, decrement. Okay. Cool. I think we're just gonna push that, and I'm gonna look at it one more time because that's cool. Of course, you know there are various improvements to make to this thing, but I just wanted to do this one right now for the video. So let's see it now. Oh, look at it go! It's beautiful. And let's go the other direction. Oh, stop. Oh, keep going. Up, up, up. All right. And when we get to the top, then it just stops. Okay. So cool. That worked out pretty well. So if you made it this far today in the video, then I thank you for watching and for hanging out, for coming by, and for just for finding something here that interests you, because that makes me very happy. And I really like hearing from everyone, people who have been emailing or showing up on IRC or commenting in the videos. It's really really fun. And if there's ever anything that you would like to know more about, then just get in touch, and I will happily talk about it, whatever it is about the system. Yeah, so I guess that's it for today's video. So see you next time.